Hello, hello. I hope we are fully live here on YouTube. Welcome in. My name is Joey, and my page, my channel here on YouTube is called Created in Awe with Joey Bailey. I also have a page over on Facebook that I do a lot more tutorials on. We're building up YouTube, but I have a lot over there on Facebook called Created in Awe. I did put a link to that down in the description, or I guess it's the description of this of this video. My terms I get mixed up between Facebook and YouTube. I'm sorry. I'm learning. But I have put that Facebook link down in the description if you want to go check out my page over there. I'm going to pull this up and make sure we are showing up like we need to be. It looks like we are. And yes, and I am going to make sure, yep, we've got good sound. I am going to share this over to my Facebook page. If you happen to come in on the replay, I see maybe a couple people coming in live and you want to share it over there on Facebook, you want to tell your friends about what we're doing here today, any of that would be wonderful. If you've never seen me before and you enjoy our project and how we do it, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. Give me some of these down below and comment all you want. We are going to chat today. I'm going to answer your questions. So hang on, I got a little bit of a flyaway there. Good morning, good morning. So talk to me when you come in. Let's hit a few buttons down here. Go over and let Facebook know, just in case. I did put messages on a Messenger broadcast channel and a Telegram channel. If you want that information, I will come back and put those in the description of the video as well. So you can connect with me there and know what we're going to be doing on a pretty much a day-to-day basis. Let's hit some buttons, and I'm sorry, it's going to take me just a quick second. And this is not going to be a very long project. I'm just going to show you a few options of things you can do. I get my fabric napkins from Walmart, but I mean, there's a zillion different places, whether you get them from Amazon or Target or at home or I don't know, Pottery Barn, Williams-Sonoma, wherever you like to get your napkins. You can dress them up very easily with some stencils from Magnolia Design Co. So that's what we're going to be using today. And if you have not seen me before, you'll see me do a lot of Magnolia Design Co. Ideas and crafts. And so I'm sorry, it's taking me a second here to get over to the right place. You're live on YouTube. See if anybody wants to check us out from there. All right, let me get back over here and see if anybody's coming in and talking to me. Oh, good morning, Miss Anita. How are you? And Miss Peggy and Constance and Miss Judy. Thank you guys for coming in. And yes, I love when you talk to each other. So you can answer each other's questions. You can see how everybody's doing. I love that. It's Friday. It's Friday. I'm excited for the weekend. I'm so ready for it. I'm going to get a sip of my coffee. Try to keep myself awake this morning, and we will get going. Oh, I meant to bring up my project from last night that we did on YouTube. We did on Facebook. We did a tote bag, and I have a couple of little tweaks I'm gonna add to it. We did a season. For everything there is a season was the design we put on a tote bag with lots of different colors for all the different seasons. So you can go back over there and check that out. And I am going to tweak it just a little bit, and I'll post some pictures of it. TGIF says Judy. Good morning, everybody. Okay, let me show you what I started with. I'm starting with some Walmart fabric napkins. Okay, these are the Mainstay brand. This is the Walmart brand. Very inexpensive. I think it's less than $5 for this set of 4 napkins, and they do have a fringe edge to them. I believe they're 100% cotton. So if you plan to wash and dry these quite a bit, you may want to wash them first and dry them so that any shrinking happens before you do your stenciling. You don't have to prepare your fabric that way before you stencil with our ink. It won't affect how the stencil applies or how you heat set it or anything like that, but it will affect what it looks like after you end up washing and drying your fabric, because if it shrinks, that image might get a little bit wrinkled looking. So that's up to you. More than likely, I'm not going to be washing these a whole lot. I'm going to use these as little fingertip towels or hand towels in my guest bath. And I'm going to show you an example of the way I've already done a set. This one I did, over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago now, from one of our craft club stencils. If you have the Grow Happy Thoughts, this is an idea for you. So I stenciled some really pretty flowers just for a year-round, everyday look on these just three of them, hand towels. So what I thought I would do, I'm kind of debating a couple of things. I think I'm only going to do 2 because in my bathroom, only 2 of these really nicely fit on the hand towel, the towel rack. I can fit all 3, but they get a little squished. So I think this time I'm only going to do 2 of them. And we have a couple of different options. So when you get your fabric, realize there is a texture to it. Okay, it's still very fine fabric, and it is very thin. Be aware of that. But there is a slight texture, so we'll have to make sure our stencil sticks really well to this. The stencils we're using are from Magnolia. They are made out of vinyl and mesh, and they're sticky on the back so that they stay in place on your design. And because they stick to the fabric, when we use our ink, it doesn't bleed underneath the stencil. So it's really convenient that way. And because, and the way they are made is they are washable and reusable. And our ink and our chalk paste, which I use on hard surfaces like this tray. In fact, we did this tray here on YouTube a couple weeks ago. Both the chalk paste and the ink are washable off of our stencil. It will not wash off of your fabric design if you heat set it right. Okay, so I have a couple of stencil options that we're going to look at. Good morning. I see Colleen is here. Is Rose here also? Good morning to you. I'm so glad you guys could be here. You've been wanting to do a bunch of tea towels. Tea towels are also a perfect option for these. In fact, we have a brand new stencil that I want to put on a tea towel. And I meant to show everybody last night on Facebook my recent orders of the Magnolia stencils. So after we're done here, I will show you those because there's a really cute one that's going to be perfect for tea towels. So what I have here are 2 different, and they're different styles and they're different stencils, okay? So this set of stencils comes from our Craft Club kit that is available currently for the month of July 2024. So if you're seeing this later, it's only available through July 31st. And to get into the Craft Club, that is a monthly subscription of $22.99 a month. You get either a stencil or a rub-on transfer. You get a surface, and if it's a stencil, you'll get ink or paste. If it's a rub-on transfer, you will get the burnishing tool, okay? And everything you need to complete a project. So this stencil came with, I'm gonna see if I can take this off of my tray back here carefully. Let's see if I can go this direction. I'm gonna knock stuff over. If you haven't seen me before, I am famous for this. I knock things over all the time. I try to be careful. Let me set this back up. There we go. Easy peasy. This was the surface that came with the stencil that I'm going to show you. And you also got the set of beads and jute. Now, the little house shape is actually a light color of wood. I stained it first. And the paste color that you get is actually black, where I used our almond latte instead because I made the house a little bit darker. So your project would look a little bit different from this, but you get to use your own creativity, do it however you like, and you actually get 4 different stencils in this kit. So Craft Club, if you want that information, let me know in a comment, but you'll probably have to come back and check for that information to be added to the description because I didn't put the Craft Club. If you go to my Magnolia link though, you can find a category called Craft Club and it will tell you all about how the kits work. They're on a monthly basis. They automatically renew. So the stencil that we used, you can see right here, home, where our story begins. The other 4 designs say, and I can't, it's backward to me on my screen, bless the food before us and the love between us. Then there is home with the heart and the house shape. And finally, our little farmhouse. Okay, so these would be super cute on the napkins that I'm using, either as napkins on like your dining room table, or for the towels that I'm going to be using for my bathroom. So that is one option for you. Another one is this brand new stencil that we have that just came out called Faith Favorites Minis. And it's a brand new style of minis. Okay, so you're getting 8 different designs, and they're a little bit larger than our other minis. Our others, you get 12 designs in the same size, so they're more like 3 inches wide, and this is about 4 inches wide. So you're going to get several different options, all faith-based. You have Be Still, you have Prayer is the Key, Let Everything That Has Breath Praise the Lord. Then you have the Ephesians 2:8. You have I Am a Child of God. And you have Let Your Faith Be Bigger Than Your Fear. And then you have 2 pretty little floral patterns or designs down here. So these would be cute as well. And I'm in the process of trying to decide which of these 2 stencils I'm going to use. I might interchange, or I might wait. I'll do a set of 2 now, and then I'm going to grab a fall design and do 2 more. I haven't decided yet. So I might decide here live, and we might be doing it together, and I might only be doing 2. I don't know yet. You're in a medical building basement. Took your husband appointment. Oh, no. Okay. Well, Rose, hope you can catch the replay if you have to. Yes. I'm so glad you popped in. Okay. Looking for any questions as we go along. So let's take a look at these. Again, if you missed the beginning, these are from Walmart. They're just in their fabric table decor. And they have all different designs. This is the color that I had chosen for springtime one year. Spring, summer. I thought the green would be really pretty for fall, going into fall, and also late summer. You can do like a sunflower design on this. I love the idea, though, of just a single color on the design when you have so much interesting texture and pattern going on the fabric. I think it's nice to have a simpler design. So we're going to take 2 of these for now. And I'm going to open these up so you can see how big they are. And they are very thin. I don't know if you'll be able to see through them like I can. Yeah, they are very thin. But you've got a tag you'll probably want to remove so that you don't have to worry about it. And you decide how this is going to hang. For these that I already had done, I did a trifold like you do with tea towels. So I stenciled right in the middle of one, like the lower half of the towel. If you wanted to fold it up into quarters like this is, then you'll want to decide what panel, what area you're going to be putting your design. I think it'd be really pretty if you did the quarters, if you did it over on one corner so that all of this pretty fringe would show. That's completely optional. So let's kind of look at this so I can decide which stencil I want to use. If I'm only doing 2, then I don't want Bless the Food. That would be good for your napkin, but I'm not going to put that on my tea towel. I do like the Home Where Our Story Begins, and I like Our Little Farmhouse. But to me, if these 2 towels are going to be side by side, I didn't want both of them. That's why I kind of looked at maybe doing the little flowers on this stencil. I could do Home Where Our Story Begins, and then the farmhouse. Okay, I'm going to skip the farmhouse. That's so cute, though. This would be really cute for a kitchen tea towel. Okay, Colleen, that would be really cute on your kitchen tea towel, I think. It's more of a kitchen thing, I think. Just my opinion. So let me look at these also. Now, again, this is something to think about. If I'm doing a trifold, my area is a little bit larger. So this is kind of small. These are a little bit larger. And I like the idea of doing maybe a flower with it. So let's look. My favorite is Be Still, absolutely. But then for this, I also like Let Everything That Has Breath Praise the Lord. I could do the flowers on one and the words on another. And then I'm going to come back over to home where our story begins with the flowers. What would you do? I'm looking for a birthday gift. She and her husband just bought a new house. Yes, tea towels and these kind of napkins are a perfect housewarming gift. Absolutely. You love the fall temperatures, but the leaves are a pain to pick up. You have time. Oh yeah, you have a lot of land, don't you, Colleen? We have we have a ton of trees in our back, so that is a pain. The front is not as big of a problem, except we get all of the neighborhood leaves in our yard because we are on the lower end as the whole neighborhood slopes toward a creek. We get all the runoff. So we collect all the leaves from the neighborhood there. It is also, it is for it is by grace you have been saved is really nice too. And also something really nice is you could just use one of the words. Like I could just use grace with a flower. And then I could do, I like prayer and I like faith with the flower as well. So we could do grace and we could do faith. That would be nice. What if we did that? Faith is very small though. Just do the, I think. Home. Put the flower next to it, above it, below it. That's just still a little too small, I think. Let's fold this in thirds and then I'll see for sure. I think it would be a very pretty gift. Okay, let's set this one aside. We'll get it set up here in just a minute. I'm going to leave that for the top part. We'll take the tag off later. So if I fold it in thirds, I want the fringe to show. So let's kind of bring this back just a little bit. Again, you can either wash these before you do this, or you can wash them later, or you can iron them as well. I did not iron. You know what? Something else I thought of is we could do it like this, which is again, like I mentioned, like on the corner of it, and then you have all that pretty fringe showing, and we could do one with the fringe on the right and one with the fringe on the left. I think that this time I'm going to do that. Okay, so this gives me an idea of the area for stenciling, and I can place my stencil and then we can kind of open it up and lay it out. Any suggestions on which designs you would use? Let me get another sip of coffee. This gives me bigger area than I was thinking. I like the key up here on the prayer one too. And then Child of God goes the other direction. Okay. I'm going to cut this apart and then I can lay it out, I think. Because I cut on these divider lines and cut all of my stencils apart. All the way through the backer sheet. Just cut it completely apart. Some people like to score the top layer because this line right here is actually covered with the mesh layer of the stencil, and they can just take it like their sharp scissors and score that mesh, and then they can peel the stencil off and leave the backer sheet intact. To me, it's a little more difficult to get my stencils all lined up, so I just go ahead and cut everything apart. It's just easier for me. So this one is one I think I'm going to use. Maybe both of these. Okay. Just down here at the bottom could be the words, just like that. And then if I did the flowers on the other one, I could do the two flowers together. And they could be, I could do them like down in this corner, like kind of together. I could do that here. Okay, got to play with my placement, got to get it the way I want it. I kind of like it in the middle. And then this in the same spot. And maybe not quite so tilted, but more together like that. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. You like to cut your stencils, makes them easier to use. I agree. Okay, let's go ahead and place this stencil. Actually, I'm gonna do the flowers on the right and the words on the left. So let's see how, and now you can see it's green on green. It's a little more difficult to tell what I'm doing. That's one of the reasons I did it initially. Now I'm not going to leave these like this because they are overlapping, but I'm doing this just for my placement on this one. And then let's get our other little napkin. You like them in the corner? That would be pretty. I like that idea. Okay, let's fold this one also. Oh, there's the top. For me, it's gonna, that way it's in the back. Okay, so we're gonna fold this side in first. And yeah, that's going over the, I have it where the fringe is just right over the edge. This is just how I want my placement. You can do it however you like. Okay, and if I smooth that down, fold it back, see they're gonna be hanging like this. Save the backer sheets. In fact, let me mark the back of mine. There, when I wash these and put them back on here, which I will try to do before we're done today, there is a shiny side of this backer sheet, and then there is a flat matte side. That's the back. Okay, the shiny side is the front. That's what the stencil needs to go back onto. If you put it onto the matte side, this is paper. And when your stencil is stuck to it later on, it's really hard to remove. This slick side is a whole lot easier. So I'm going to put just a little X on the back of each of those. Okay. And then, praise the Lord. Let's get the placement. See, I like this right down here. Just on, you know, like, I don't know, if you broke this into like 4 sections, it'd be this middle section here. Just under the halfway point, right? Right there. These are a little higher, so I'm going to bring it up. Bottom half, so to speak. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and place this. They are easy to use and store absolutely after they're cut. Then they all fit down in that little, in the plastic sleeve that I took it out of. All right, so there's our general placement. We'll readjust these to, in order to do the stenciling. Now I'm gonna use my ink mat. This is like a sticky mat. It's plastic. It's like a vinyl plastic, and it has a sticky side that I can put my fabric on that keeps it nice and smooth while I'm stenciling. You don't have to use this. We talked last night over on Facebook about lots of different options. You can use a plastic cutting board like this from Walmart or Dollar Tree. You can use a smooth piece of cardboard. Excuse me. You could do a plastic tray if you want to that's washable underneath. If you have a silicone mat like I have down here, you could go straight onto the silicone mat. And then when you lift your stencil up, you can just clean what goes through the fabric. I'm going to put it on my sticky mat. It's going to help me smooth out the wrinkles and keep it nice and smooth. So let's go ahead. Let's get all of these guys. You know what? Let's put these extras that I'm not going to use into the plastic sleeve so I don't lose track of them, because I am famous for that. And I need to put my X on the back of this. Okay. And all of my little backer sheets I'm going to save together. So after we wash our stencil, it's ready for for that. Okay, so I have my placement. Move my coffee mug a little bit. you put the name on the back of yours. Some people do, and that's a really good practice to get in. But I have a tendency, okay, I'm just going to tell you, these are all the same size, right? These are basically all the same size. And if I go and use all 3 of them, take them in my bathroom, I wash them, I lay them upside down to dry, and I may not put them back on the backer sheet that day or the next day or even within a few days. I may be doing other projects, and then I come in there and I've got a stack of stencils all out drying, or, you know, and then a stack of backer sheets, and it takes me longer to try to find the exact name to match up to the stencil. So I just put a mark on the back, and I know it fits, it's going on that backer sheet. It may not be the original one, but it will fit. That's just me. I'm not as organized as some of you might think I am. All right, so you can see here how sheer this fabric is. My ink is going to go through this fabric. It is. So be ready to clean up your mat or whatever you're stenciling against. I also have on hand, every time I do ink, disinfecting wipes, because I can use them easily to clean up the ink off the table, off the mat, off my hands, and it can help me clean the stencil as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get at least one of these out, because I will tend to get it everywhere. Now the color I'm going to use it's a fairly new color. It's called Almond Oil. You could use white if you wanted. You could use a bright yellow. You could use like gold or copper. We also have some really pretty colors like a rose gold. We have a kind of a creamy color called Mango Mojito. We have some glittering colors as well, but I thought almond oil would be a really nice complement to the color of this fabric. Okay, so you just need one of our regular old squeegees. And I stirred this last night just to make sure we were good. I just get a little bit on. This is the beveled edge of the squeegee. I smooth out my air bubbles, okay? And I actually am going to go back here real quick and work this down into the texture of the fabric. There is texture to this. It's very fine, but this is a tiny stencil, and it has tiny details to it. It feels like there's something underneath here. Hang on a second. I don't know if it's my table. It might be my table. Yeah, there's a lump on my table. So let's kind of slide it up. I really want it to be smooth. So we are going to push this down into the texture of the fabric. Okay. Now we're going to take, I wish I had my glasses up here. Again, I forgot. Oh, there they are. They got moved. Hold on, guys. Let me get my glasses, because the green on green, it is a little harder to see where my stencil design is. So I need my glasses so I make sure I don't miss anything. So I just very gently drag this across. I didn't have quite enough ink. Get a little bit more. Drag it across to make sure I've covered all of the design, okay? Now, it's not even. I have thick areas and I have thinner areas. So I'm going to clean off the ink from the squeegee. Now I'm going to go back over it, give it a little more pressure, a little higher angle, and clean off the excess from those areas that are a little thicker. Okay? Now let's do a test, because every fabric is different. I may not have pressed hard enough to get it onto this fabric. So we're going to do a little test and see. I need a little more ink on those thin words. So let's smooth that down. These thin words need a little more ink. So we're just going to go back over them again. I think I may have missed that spot. Okay, check my fingers, make sure they're clean. There we go. It's a little bit light in a couple of spots, but not bad. All right, there's that one. I'm going to put this in my tub of water upside down. So ink side down, sticky side up. And that is going to keep that ink from drying in the mesh of the stencil before I get a chance to wash it. All right, let's hold on to that. I'm going to show this to you real quick. Keep it nice and flat. There you go. Really pretty. Now I'm not going to fold this up because the ink has gone through and it might be on the back of the fabric. So it is better. Yeah, it's gone through the back. So pull it off my ink mat and I am going to lay it over. I have an area over here. I'm going to lay this over here to dry. And I'll tell you what to do next after we do the second towel. See, you hang yours up with command hooks. Oh, okay. On a skirt rack. You're asking how we store them, Anita. I hang mine all with what's called boot clips that I get from Amazon. It has a hanger on the top, just like, you know, the hangers in your closet. And then it has a big metal clip with like a rubber cover over the ends. And I can clip together multiple stencils in their plastic covers together, and I hang it on a garment rack. That's what I do. Did Judy have to go? Okay. Well, I am glad you could be here for a little bit, Judy. Okay, so let's unfold this and lay it down. Don't get in the ink. Lay it down on my ink mat. Okay. I'm going to smooth out my fabric. Don't stretch your fabric when you put it on your ink mat. Just let it naturally lay down and then smooth out any wrinkles. Okay, now this overlaps here just a little bit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stencil this one first, leaving this in place, but I am going to lift it up just so I can get all of the ink on this flower, and then we will pull that off and we'll do the other one. Okay, so I am going to push this down into the texture. We're going to stencil each one. So we're going to go across. Making sure we've got ink on the entire design. Okay. And then knowing how it worked on that other towel, I need to give a little more pressure than before and a little more ink. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more ink on here. Not a lot. Okay. Clean that off. And then we're going to clean off the excess. As you clean off the excess, it's kind of pushing it down into the fabric more. So be careful you're not pushing too hard. All right, let's take a look. Hang on, I got a little ink on my fingernail. There we go. See how the fabric stays down against the ink mat? We are currently out of stock on our ink mats. They should be coming back very soon. Okay, there's one flower. I can't pick it up just yet. This is going to overlap that flower. So I'm going to hold it up on this corner. I could put my little backer sheet under here, but this is wet and I don't want to smear it. So if you're going to actually overlap your designs, you need to make sure the first layer dries thoroughly. Okay, before you do that. So I can just hold that up. Okay, let's make sure we get enough ink. There's a little more ink on it this time, so that's going to be good. Okay, cleaned off some of it, my excess. Clean off some more. I just swipe it back in my jar. I don't know if you can, you probably can't, well, maybe you can see that over here. Swipe off my excess back in the jar, and I'll go ahead and lift it up from this edge. Oh, it's so pretty. Whoops, pick it up. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, upside down in the water tub, and I will be showing you how to clean that. Let's go ahead, and I can put my squeegee in the water tub also. close up my ink jar. I'm so proud I didn't get it all over myself this time. Thank you for being here, guys. Good morning, good morning. If you came in late, we are almost done. I'll be giving you some more instructions. Isn't that pretty? I think that's pretty. On how to heat set these here in just a minute. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Guys, I didn't clean my ink mat from where I put the other stencil. It's dry. It's okay. The way I clean the ink mat, in fact, let's go ahead and remove this and I'll clean this side. But keep this flat. Don't let this fold over on itself. Okay. Okay. Hang on, I got some ink on me. I am going to hang this here to dry. All right. I clean it with my disinfecting wipe. Let me get it off my hands because I touched it. And I just go over it with my disinfecting wipe. If you can do it while it's wet, it will come right off. If you wait till it's dry, you just kind of have to scrub it just a little bit. Now, I haven't been good about cleaning my ink mat before, so sometimes I have excess. Now, you also will get a buildup of fuzzy from the fabric that you put on your ink mat, and you can swipe off that fuzzy with your disinfecting wipes, just like you can off the back of your stencil. See, that gets the fuzz off of it and it reactivates your ink mat. So as soon as these ink mats come back in stock, I will be putting out a notice on my Facebook group that is all about using the Magnolia products. I call it Making It with Magnolia. So if you want to keep up with, you know, products that come out when we have specials and sales. Right now I have a mystery hostess party going on. If you want all of that information, come back and check the description of this video. I will put a link to that group. Right now I have a link to my Facebook page. There's a lot of fuzz on this, but I don't have a link to that group. So you can find it if you go to my page. Let me get this go over it one more time. Each time I'm getting more of that fuzz off of there. And then I just let it dry and it helps to reactivate the stick. So hopefully these will be restocking very soon. That's what I was told a couple of weeks ago. Alrighty, so I'm letting those dry for a minute. We're gonna go ahead and wash our stencils. Here's the water tub I had put them in. Need to move some of these things out of the way. And I need one of our tacky towels. The tacky towel comes from Magnolia. Oh, I gotta get those off my face. I'm starting to sweat. But I may not be able to see your comments. Yes, you are. Oh, Anita, yes, you and Chris have talked before. Okay, so the tacky towel comes in handy when we are needing to apply a little fuzz to the back of our sticky stencils before we put it on a smooth, hard surface like wood, plastic, glass, ceramic, anything that is more smooth than fabric for sure, because fabric has fuzz. You add some fuzz using the green side of the tacky towel. But the gray side is like a microfiber cloth and it has like little to no fuzz to it, and you can use it for cleaning your stencils. So we're gonna start in the water. Pretend this is your sink with your water faucet running rather than a tub of water, because this is a far more awkward. I recommend you take it to the sink and use your faucet. You are going to, I kind of push this down against the base of my tub. You won't have to do that at your sink, but I do that here just because I don't have the water running on it, okay? Then once that has taken some of the ink off, I get our stencil cleaner wet. The stencil cleaner is a sponge. It has, oh, there's my nubby side that has a little texture to it that helps you swipe ink and paste off the top of the stencil, okay? And I'll show you what the full size of this looks like here in just a minute. This is a cut version. Then I turn this over and I use my hands to swipe off ink and any fuzz that has built up on the sticky side of the stencil, Okay, so that one, it's mostly clean, but I do have a little bit of residue in my water here. At your sink, all you need to do is run this under the faucet. So I'm just going to use a sprayer to pretend this is my faucet, and it gets that extra residue of ink off, and I can lay it right on that. Or you can use like a dish drying mat. But I'm going to show you a trick here with the gray side. We can dry them using that. Okay, same process. Swipe off the ink from the top side, and then on the back side, I'm going to use my hand wet to swipe the ink and fuzzies off. Okay, get fuzzies on my hands, and I'm going to drop those into the water. Now, let me get my spray, and it just gets that inky water off. And I'm turning these upside down with the sticky side up, because if I was going to just do this in my bathroom and let it dry, that's exactly how I would do it, is I would leave it sticky side up on some kind of a fabric mat. I don't put it straight on my kitchen counter because sometimes they end up sticking for some reason. So do it on a towel or a mat of some kind, or the gray side of your tacky towel if you have one. So that's the top. Let's get the fuzzies and ink off the back. Okay, with my hand, and spray it. When you can get your stencils straight to the sink, it's a whole lot easier to wash than if you wait, especially with ink. Okay, so this is going upside down on my mat. Let me go ahead and clean my squeegee real quick while we're here, and then all I have to do is go dump my water in the sink after we're done on this video. All right. You guys are funny. I've slept since we last talked. Paper towel would be fine for drying. Hang on, just tore it up. Drying my squeegee. Now the tub of water is ready to go to the sink to be dumped, and this can be used again anytime. Let me slide this over. Hopefully that's stable and will not fall. Now I'm going to show you a trick for drying these, because you can leave them just sitting and let them dry, air dry. Probably after a couple hours they'll be done. Or you can do this with your tacky towel, and you can dry both sides. I usually do that a couple of times. It will be slightly damp, so then I'm going to let this sit and dry over here. Let's turn these this direction, more toward the middle, and fold this over. Don't fold your stencil over though, okay? Hi Marlene, how are you? Okay, we're going to do this a couple more, just one more time, just to make sure we get them dry. That mesh layer that's over the top of your stencil is fabric, so it takes an extra minute or so to completely dry. Okay. Now, if there's any residue on your stencils, at this point you can take, and let me get a clean one, a disinfecting wipe. Now you can actually use the disinfecting wipe for the whole cleaning process if you want to. Put it on your tacky towel and clean both sides with a disinfecting wipe. It works just fine. But if, after you've cleaned your stencil, if you feel like it's not as sticky as it should be, take a disinfecting wipe and swipe over it just like we did that sticky mat, the ink mat, and it helps to remove some of the fuzz. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just to make sure this is as sticky as it can be for my next project. And I mentioned putting, I put links to my shop in the description of the video so you could get to that. I will come back and give you more information about the exact stencils I talked about and more direct links if you need those. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry for just a second. Oh, I don't want to put my, fold this back over it because that might add a tiny bit of fuzz to the back. So we're just going to let this dry for a second. And then we can put it back on the backer sheet. While this is drying, I'm going to show you what I'm using to clean it. It's called a stencil cleaner. It also cleans chalkboards because when we use our chalk paste, like up here on chalkboards, that's washable. So you can change up your chalkboards. And this can clean it as well. This is called a stencil cleaner. It is from Magnolia. You can see the nubby side. Okay, it dissolves as you use it slightly, especially if you have to get in and scrub things. Okay, so what I do is I cut it into sections. Okay, so this is, you know, about a 1-inch section of my stencil cleaner. It just cuts right apart if you want to. You can even cut it into squares if you'd rather do that. But cutting it into this is a little easier for me to handle. And as I use it and it dissolves, I'm not using that whole sponge. I'm just using a section of it. So once this has dissolved down and I can't use it anymore, I'm going to cut another section, and that will last me a good long time. So this is our stencil cleaner, really handy, and I definitely recommend it if you ever use the products, the stencils with our ink, like I just did on fabric, because that is a little harder sometimes to clean off your stencil, and the stencil cleaner is vital for that. Okay, so these should be dry now. Let's go ahead and line them back up on my backer sheet. Remember, not the matte side, but the shiny side. Just line a couple of corners up and lay it down and smooth it out. And I may have an edge or two that hangs over. That's okay with me. Here's another one. Whoops, that one's really crooked. Get that lined up a little bit better. Sticking to my fingers. Whoop! And then this one stuck to me. That's okay. Okay, we'll get that lined up. There we go. Now these can go right back into, where is the package? Over here. This can go right back into our package, and they are good to go next time. And like I said, I use a boot clip and I hang it with this open edge up, and I just hang my stencils like that, and then I can flip through them and see what I want to use for my next project. And I will let this dry. Any questions? Oh, I need to tell you, sorry, I've got a hair tickling my lip. I need to tell you how to heat set your fabric. Let's check this. There's this one. Oh my goodness, it's almost dry. There's a little bit of wet to it, so I'm going to be careful. And then this one has been sitting longer, so it is fully dry. Okay, so I can fold this one. Let's do the fold like we did earlier. The little tri-fold. Something like that. That may not be perfect, but this is how it's going to hang once I'm done with it. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, there's this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to, after everything is fully dry, so this one's not quite dry, I'm going to give it a little more time. I can come back and touch it. If I feel wetness or if it sticks to me, I'm going to give it longer to dry. You can wait as long as you want to. You can wait overnight. You can wait a week, whatever you want to do. But to heat set this so it can be washed, I will take 2 pieces of parchment paper, not wax paper. It does have to be parchment paper. Or if you have Teflon sheets from, maybe you use a Cricut, or you heat set things with in the past, you can use a Teflon sheet. Put one over the top of your design and put a piece underneath. So we're going to have like 3 layers, a little sandwich. You've got parchment, fabric, parchment. And you're going to lay it out flat, and you're going to iron it with a dry iron, no water in it. Don't set it to steam or anything. On a medium to cotton setting for 4 minutes. Okay, so technically what I will do is I will put these side by side and I'll iron over both at the same time and just go back and forth. And I'll do 4 minutes. Then you flip over to the back side of the fabric. You still have a parchment sandwich, so parchment fabric sandwich. Lay it down and iron over it for 4 minutes. It's 100% heat set. You can wash it, you can dry it. So always choose fabric to stencil on that you can iron, at least on a medium setting. Okay, you don't want something so delicate that you can't iron it or it won't be heat set. Okay, any questions, drop those in the comments real quick. I'm going to get a sip of coffee and I'm going to see if I think I can go ahead and fold this one. Let's see. See if I can fold it like this. Might be a little crooked. I think that's crooked. There we go. And this is how it will hang. Just like that. So I'm going to let this one dry just a little bit longer. I have a fan going, so that helped it to dry. And then I will heat set it. And that'll also get the wrinkles out, and I will post some pictures. What do you think? Aren't they so sweet? There'll be cute little towels hanging in my guest bath. Or these would be adorable if you did it on a corner and you did it as a napkin on your dining room table. So we do have 2 more that I will do something else with. I don't see any questions. I appreciate you guys being here for some reason. Let me see if there's anything. Oh, thank you, Colleen. Thanks, Constance. I know, I love the almond oil on these kind of muted colors. I think it's so pretty. If I missed anything, I'll come back and answer real quick before I do the final posting of this video. And then I will be sure to put all of that information in the description so you can come back and check it. So thank you for being here, guys. You have a wonderful, wonderful Friday and weekend. I will be live on my Facebook page through the weekend, so you can, at the top of that page, find my schedule. If I have to make changes to that, I try to update it on the Facebook page, but I definitely give updates over on my Messenger channel and Telegram channel. So look for that information in the description. You guys have a wonderful day. I will see you soon. Bye.